Are you tired of your goals constantly getting pushed back because you're distracted? Are you tired of your graduation date constantly getting delayed because you're distracted? If so, then this lesson is for you. On Wednesday, I talked about how we live in a world that's full of distractions and how they steal from us. But today, I'm going to dive deeper on what these distractions are, how to avoid them, and the benefits of avoiding them. Hello, welcome back to JC's Learning Guest for another Friday deep dive. I'm so glad that you all are here. I'm JC. I earned my bachelor's degree in 1 year and my master's degree in 3 months. And basically, I help others do the same. So if you're ready to turn your goals from wishful thinking to reality, I encourage you to lock in with me for the next 8 to 10 minutes. Get your notes out because I believe this lesson will not only be motivational, but transformational. So let's get right into it. My first point today is the distractions. We're going to do a little review. Let's talk about the distractions we face as students. Number one, y'all remember we talked about the digital distractions. Now, this can be social media, watching TV, scrolling shorts on TikTok and YouTube, or playing video games. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing these things, but when they stop you or distract you from doing the work that pushes you forward, that's when you know it's no longer harmless, but it's delaying your progress. Then we talked about the distraction of having a lack of urgency, something that many students deal with and many people in general deal with is not having a respect for time. We have this illusion that we have all the time in the world and we can afford to put it off until tomorrow, which ultimately pushes our deadlines and graduation dates further into the future. Then what? What about multitasking? We talked about that, right? This is something we all are guilty of, especially in this day and age where our attention spans are so short. We find that it's better to study while watching a video on the side instead of just focusing on studying. But hear me, this is a trick because multitasking isn't real. Multitasking isn't real. Studies have shown that the human brain cannot focus on multiple complex tasks at the same time, but instead, it switches rapidly between tasks. This means you can't really take in and retain the information you're supposed to be studying because your brain isn't focused. So, whatever you're studying, you just doing that to say that you studied because you're not going to remember none of that while you're watching a video on the side. So this is a trap we fall into. Now I'm going to add one more new distraction that we haven't talked about yet, which is our environment. If you decide to study in a high traffic area, whether it be in public or at home, it can distract you from really locking in and finishing your work. I know me, I found it hard to really focus the way I needed to, when there's too much movement going on around me. Or if people passing by are constantly talking to me, it's constantly knocking me out of my focused state. And then I got to focus on whatever you're asking me. Also, if your environment is messy, it can distract you. Studies have shown that when a student is studying in a messy environment, it generally hinders their ability to learn because of the visual clutter, which can overload the brain, increase stress, and reduce focus. Now that we've talked about the distractions we face, let's get into how to avoid them. My second point. All right, let's deal with the digital distractions first. We understand that in today's world, our phones and devices are major sources of distraction, especially when you can use them for anything. Your calculator is on your phone and stuff. But to combat this, start by turning off notifications during study or work time. I know Apple has this thing where on your device, you can set a focus time where you could put it on do not disturb, reduce interruptions, or just work, where your phone won't buzz as much so you can really lock in on whatever you're doing. Also, they have it where you can go in and change your settings to your liking. I know for me, I can't have my phone on full do not disturb because if my family calls, I need to know so I can answer. So I went in my settings where I don't get notifications, I get no buzzing and no unknown or non-family calls, but my family calls still come through. So everything's still being taken care of while I'm still setting my environment and while I'm still, limiting the digital distractions so I can focus. Now let's get into the distraction of our environment, because this is one I think many students, don't realize, it's stealing from them. As I said, a cluttered and noisy environment doesn't promote focus, which makes it harder for you to just sit there and study. You want to be up doing what everybody else is doing. There's so much movement going around. So choose a quiet and organized space to work in. Now, if you don't naturally have that, I encourage you to first clean your desk area or your work area. Then maybe you need to have a conversation with your family like, for 1 to 2 hours in this space, if possible, can I get this time to myself so I can study? After that, I'll be free. Especially when you're in a house with others, communication is key. And you'll be surprised on how they'll help you out. They'll try their best not to bother you during that time. Try to find a quiet corner that doesn't have a lot of traffic. So don't go to your family and try to say, I'm gonna sit in the living room where everything's going on. Mom is cooking over here, this one is playing over here, this one watching TV. Try not to be in those spaces because those are high traffic areas. But if you can find a certain area of your house where no one will really be at, that'll be better. Now, if home isn't a good place for you, find a library or even a cafe with a chill environment. I know many students go to Starbucks because it's a chill environment, it's a nice smell, nobody really bothers you, it helps you really lock in. So whatever works for you, I want you to find a place. The key here is to have a consistent place where you can mentally transition into work mode. Like when I was in school, I knew when I went to my desk, it was time to work. Like mentally, I was making that transition even as I walked to my desk. So, the environment you create can have a direct impact on your ability to stay engaged in your task. Now, the last strategy I'll share with you is using the Prodomo technique. Sometimes just the thought of, I got to study for 2 hours can be distracting. I know me, just thinking about the stuff I had to do was a distraction to me. So, break it up into manageable chunks. This technique allows you to study for 25 to 30 minutes, then take a 5-minute break to refresh your mind. But while you refresh your mind, I encourage you to try to refrain from watching a video or getting on social media, but really allow your brain to rest and reset so that when you get back to work, you're able to lock right back in. And this method helps you maintain high levels of productivity while preventing fatigue. Now, I know I just gave y'all a lot of information, and you're like, man, but now I got to change my whole way of life. Like, is it really worth it? Now, my answer to that question is, let me show you. To my third point, the benefits. When talking about the benefits of staying focused, I can make it real easy on myself right here and just tell you, you'll consistently progress towards your goals and you'll graduate faster than you thought possible. But I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to give you a little more information. First, it improves your overall academic results. Avoiding these distractions allow you to concentrate on tasks whether they're hard or easy. And I'll tell you, when you're in that distracted state, we tend to make assignments harder than they actually are. And I know this sounds simple, but it really only takes a little bit of focus to get stuff done. But this helps you prevent incomplete assignments, rush work, and procrastination, which results in higher grades and quicker completion times. You'll be surprised that what you thought would take you 2 weeks to do, you could do it in 4 days with real focus. So, secondly, as I said before, our attention spans are short, which makes it easy to fall into these distractions and continue to put off work. Especially in this digitized world, we know AI is trying to take over even in the school space, which is extremely, you know, um, which is extremely difficult. Because when we allow AI to do all of our work, and we Defer to AI when it's time to solve a problem, we lose our ability to think critically because the brain is like a muscle. And just like muscles, if you continue to use them, they'll grow. But if you don't use them, you'll lose them. So when you decide to avoid these distractions and sit down and focus and do the work yourself, you can get a little bit of help, but ensure you're doing the problem solving. When you do this, you're strengthening your ability to critically think, which which won't only help you finish your assignments and graduate, but it'll prepare you for the workforce and life in general. We want to keep our ability to critically think. Now, next, it increases our free time. Now, hear me out because I know what you're thinking. If I have to sit down and do the work, then I won't have free time because I'm working. But let me change your perspective. When you focus and you avoid these distractions, what usually takes you the whole day to do you can finish that in 1 to 2 hours. Then you have the whole day to yourself without that assignment constantly weighing on your mind. So you could actually enjoy the free time you have. Now, lastly, now this one may surprise you. It increases your self-esteem because you'll be able to do exactly what you said you would do. When we fall into distractions, we can say, I'll finish this assignment today. But when it's time to work on it, we start scrolling on social media or we get into I'll do it tomorrow. And after all that, we feel defeated and frustrated. But when we avoid these distractions and stay focused, it allows us to be able to be proud of ourselves. And here's a big one. It allows us to trust ourselves. So then you train yourself to know whatever I say I'm gonna do, I do. And this is exactly why I wrote my book, Graduating Half the Time, for people just like you who are tired of allowing distractions to continue to delay your graduation date. In this book, I teach you strategies to overcome distractions effectively and how to continuously make progress. So if you're ready to reach your goals instead of just wishing for them, I encourage you to get your copy today. I have it in ebook and paperback version. Now, as I close, I want to challenge you to take these strategies I've given you on avoiding distractions and start implementing them into your everyday life, little by little. Don't completely overhaul your life because it won't last. But little by little, start adding this to your daily life and watch how quickly you start getting results. Now, if this message has helped you, I need you to do a couple things for me. Number one, like and subscribe. Join this community. I'd love to be a part of your journey. And secondly, share this with a friend who could use this reminder today. We all we all can come up together. And remember, don't fall into distractions, but stay focused and watch your goals go from wishful thinking to reality. And as always, success doesn't shout, it shows up. And I'll see you next week. Bye bye.